Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Screaminpirate EDC. And if this is your first time here, then welcome. Today we have the review of a very special knife to myself and a couple other members of the community, but I hope you guys are going to enjoy this too. We have the Renegade EDC Gungnir. Now, before we get into the review, let's start with a little bit of consistency. In my mug, Pirate Barrel mug, Death Wish coffee, come on, you gotta love it. Drinking some community coffee today. Delicious stuff. My Hank is going to be the Mandalorian Hank from Renegade EDC, guys. Come on. Toss him right there. And then I have the Still Time coin. There you go. Still Time to Find Your Way. This is from Grim Pocket over on Instagram. So I'm going to set that right down there for you guys. And then my pry bar for today is from Cerberus Knives. This one is actually in 3V. This is a black nano coat. Very, very cool stuff. Set him right there for you guys. All right, so now that we have all that on the table, let's go ahead and get into this. So this knife is designed by Renegade EDC, who runs Renegade Provisions Co. I will have a pop-up and a link in the description to sign up for this knife, for the wait list. The pre-order for this knife is going to be July 11th. I will have a pop-up for that date as well. Do not forget it. You're going to want this if you like bigger knives. So, this knife is named the Gungnir, and it is based off of Odin's spear. So I thought that was really cool, nice, just gigantic knife. This is a prototype. The full production will have some changes. I will go over those changes. Now, as you can see, this blade is all mucked up. I'll go ahead and have a cut right here. I actually cut up some barbecue pork ribs with this knife, and it actually did surprisingly well. I was very surprised. I think it's the tall grind and very cool stuff. Now, let's go ahead and talk about where it's being made, specs, etc., options. This is an M390 hollow grind blade, as you can see right there, that big, deep, just insane hollow grind. Again, M390. When you do the pre-order, you will have an option between black, green, or natural micarta. I like the black micarta. You will also have an option between a titanium milled clip or a wire deep carry clip. I prefer the tie clip because I like having something to grab right here. Go ahead and set him back down. Now, I'm going to go ahead and check specs on what is on the pre-order page versus what I have here. So, on the page, it says the blade is 4.25 overall with a 4-inch cutting length. So if I go right to tip, hey, look at that. And I'm probably a touch off. So yeah, that's great. And then let me touch my cutting length here. Yeah, right at 4, guys. If I'm looking at that right, it's upside down. Sorry about that. But yeah, we are tossing stuff, throwing stuff right around 4. I'm a bit off. That is probably going to be, yeah, that's much more accurate. So 4 inches. Overall is going to be 9.3. So we had our 4.25 up here. And if I come straight to the bolster, there you go. So yeah, we are right around the measurements on the website. I'm having a hard time with the overall just because I don't have my ruler with me. But based on calipers, very, very close. Okay, weight. So weight on the website is 6.9. Yes, hello. $6.9. Yes. It makes me so happy when specs on a website are the same as what I have in hand, because it means there's consistency. And if there's not consistency in our knives and the specs and with the way they're made, then I have trouble with the knife overall. So that makes me very happy. Now, let's actually Since there's no thickness on the website, let's go ahead and test that for ourselves. So our blade thickness is 0.6. Our overall handle is 0.57, not bad. How thin are we behind the edge with that hollow grind? Oh my God. Oh my God. It's so thin. It's so thin. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I knew that hollow grind was slicey, but woo. Yeah, that's thin. Yeah, guys, I like it. So let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of the changes real quick for the production update, and then I'll do some size comparisons for you guys. And then I'll kind of talk about this knife and my feelings and my thoughts and, you know, kind of how I came to even have this in my possession. I like doing the story at the end. It's my personal preference, guys. So on the full production, this fuller is going to be enlarged to a 6mm width this way. And it's going to be a full cut through that's going to have a little bit of jimping in there so you can flick it. As of right now, I have a bit... There, I can get it. Also, I'm going to go ahead and stop the review real quick so you guys can hear this. So what's happening? And I was talking to the guy who had this knife before me, old man Bob Pancho. And what it is the way this engages here and the flipper tab, when it fully engages, the flipper tab acts as a tuning fork. And that's why you hear that almost like unsheathing of a sword and that ting. So you hear it on the close too. But let me one more time for you guys. It's kind of cool. But this will be a fuller, so you can flick it as well and flip. Love that. Also, the pivot system is going to be updated. It is going to be a stainless steel captive pivot system with a single screw and added pivot collars that will be titanium. So your pivot collars will be Ti. The screwed stuff is going to be stainless steel. It's going to make maintenance easier, and I agree with that. Now, with that being said, talking about screws, what do we have as far as sizes? So, T8, not T8, that's fine. T8 in the clip. Actually, I am mistaken. Yep. Oh yeah, that does turn down. Now, if there's some looseness here in screws, I've had other people take this apart before me. But yeah, that's T8 all over. Fantastic for a knife this big. Love that. Love that. So the other thing that I'm really excited about for this knife, guys, is the case it's going to come in. The case from Renegade is actually going to be a small, like about probably just fit the knife, Pelican case. So it's going to be a hard plastic foam-lined Pelican case. You only get that on customs. That's the only place I've ever seen it. I've never experienced another knife with one, and so I'm super excited. So, you know what the changes are going to be. You know what it looks like. Again, large gloves. So I am 4 inches from here to here, and then 7.5 from the base of my hand to the tip of my fingers. And that knife is massive. Massive. Absolutely. Look at this, guys. What in the actual... Oh my God, it's so big. That's what she said. So the only changes, and I've made notes of this, that I would make to this knife is I would love to see this nub moved ever so slightly back because it barely fit 2 fingers here. And I'd like to see this choil enlarged so I can actually choke up. But the jimping up there, which reminds me a lot of a like Vox design. There you go, guys. I mean, that's just, yeah. I mean, you feel like you're holding a sword. You really do. I mean, it's like, yeah, that feels powerful in hand, which is cool. So that's already getting into my thoughts. Let's go and backtrack, and let's actually have some size comparisons here. So I wanted to give you guys an idea of just how big this knife is. And I wanted to start with the Urban EDC Supply / Vox F5.5 because they have a similar blade shape. Mine has been Cerakoted by River's Edge Cutlery, but just to give you an idea of how much the Gungnir dwarfs everything else. Yeah. Okay, so you have that in mind. I'll move him down to the bottom. Let's start with something that everybody knows. Rat 1. Yep. Still a lot smaller. A lot smaller. Okay. Well, this is also a bigger budget knife. That is going to be your Spartan Aster. Well, still smaller. So I'll tuck those away. And let's bring out some other well-known larger knives. I don't have an XM24 anymore, but let's bring these out. Spyderco Shaman. Yeah, not even close. Let's go ahead and jump up in price to something that is similarly priced, and I will go over price at the end as well. That would be your Timco 8020, guys. People consider the 8020 a big boy. Not compared to the Gungnir, it's not. So, yeah, it's big. All right, final two, and I consider these some of the bigger knives in my current collection. This is the Vero Isotope. And a lot of people are complaining about this knife because they think it's big. Lastly, 4-inch blade, the big boy as a lot of people call it, the full-size Spartan Harsey. Now the only reason the Harsey's blade doesn't look as big is because your cutting length and you don't have the choil there. If I line those up, there you go. Similar color length, they're both about 4 inches. But look at the size of the Gungnir, guys. Look at this thing. It's huge, okay? It's huge. So with that being said, guys, you kind of get an idea for size here. I mean, just look at that. It fills my hands when I hold it like that. It's just crazy. So this knife is, like I said, it is the very first production model that Renegade EDC is putting out. The reason I have my hands on this knife is I am part of a small group of gentlemen in a group chat called The Grog. And all of us are sending this knife to each other so we can really check it out, because this was really an idea that Renegade had one evening when we were talking about doing a knife. And he drew this up, and over time it got tweaked, and eventually it came to be this. It is honestly, it's as good as I was hoping it was going to be. Really, guys. And with that hole and having the jimping there and being able to flick this knife, yes. You think it's going to be overly big, but something I wanted to show you guys that really kind of changed my mind. So here you have the Shaman. It's only slightly thicker than a Shaman. Slightly. I mean, here's your Route 1. You are just a hair thicker than a Route 1, but it dwarfs it. So, I mean, look at that, guys. It's a bigger knife in every aspect and heavier in everything and a much bigger blade, but it's not that much thicker. And honestly, it carries pretty small. I wouldn't say small. Small's not the word. It carries slim. Slimmer than you think it's going to for 6.9 ounces, which is why I really like it. I do. I will be pre-ordering one, no questions. I think it is going to be my standard for a large knife from here on out. Just between the work I've done cutting down boxes and being able to cut through anything because of that high hollow grind is just impressive. It's nothing short of impressive. And I think that if the big knife is not something for you, I understand. He is doing a mini. He does have a lot of other things in mind. But the biggest thing for me is that It is a large knife and it feels like a big ass cleaver, but it's something that I can still fidget with. No joke. Because I can just drop that flipper tab and it drops. You make the sound, you go, ooh, that's shiny. Do it again. And it's just very fidgetable. Which, I mean, again, guys, I know that some people think, you know, their knives are only tools, but I mean, I think most of the people in the knife community now are fidgeting with their knives, whether it's conscious or not. And I think this is one of the best fidgeting knives I've ever held, just because you like, oh man, the size of that thing and the sound and it's everything about it. So guys, I think you can hear my excitement over this knife, and I think with the updates with the captive pivot and the hole through here, yes, 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 yes. I think this is going to become what everybody's talking about. As soon as the more of them come out, I think people are going to lose it, and I think Renegade's going to explode. The fact that this is Rayop made, I think, really sets it over the top. Everything is finished just perfectly. And I think all his future offerings are going to be, honestly, fantastic. So hopefully you guys really enjoyed this review. If you did, hit it with a thumbs up. Head down to the comments section. Go ahead and subscribe. And don't forget, July 11th. I'll catch you guys on the next one.